Welcome to Secrets of the Quantum Leap. I'm Michael Matui and one of the partners here at Encompass Life, along here tonight with Mark Scherer, who's CEO and the developer of the Quantum Leap technique that we utilize to empower people to help them make their own quantum leaps. Because here at Encompass Life, our goal, our mission, our journey is to create, spark global change and progress and transformation by giving people the tools and standing for their journey, because it's through everyone that we're going to advance. It's through you doing your own quantum leaps that you will be able to then shift your life and then shift the lives of others. We work in terms of outcomes at Encompass Life. Our goal is to spark amazing outcomes, emotional, personal statements that come from getting somewhere, results-driven sessions and coaching and work. And I love to hear, wow, I realized a bunch of new things that can boost my life. I also love hearing, I see a new pathway for me to address that nagging thing, whatever is going on in my life, and finally get myself where I choose to be. And also I love to hear, see what makes you guys so unique and effective. Fun. Okay, you guys are different. And we love shining our uniqueness and empowering people in ways that they haven't yet seen for their lives. I personally have done a lot of stuff, Eastern and Western philosophies, deep spiritual studies, became a teacher in several modalities, from biology and health to meditation and yoga and fitness and spirituality. And I can say that going deep into the quantum has been the most profound of all the work that I have done. What does that really mean anyway? That word's being thrown around a lot. It's kind of got buzz lately, quantum this, quantum that, but we're just going to focus on the quantum leap. And for us, we're looking for quantum leaps in consciousness, which is fast, mega shifts, covering a lot of distance in a very short amount of time. Big, big changes in life, things that people haven't even conceived as even possible. We're doing quantum, so we also are looking at the quantum leap, talking about the core level, the quantum level of our beingness, the cellular molecular structure that is our base.
When you're just addressing something, we're addressing something at the core. All areas of your life change simultaneously and exponentially. So instead of working on finances or relationship or linearly, piece by piece, what we're doing here is when the person changes something at their core, all those things change at the same time. That's what's so different. And you don't have to work on something by itself as you change who you are on the inner. In other words, if you have a lot of anger and resentment, even though you may be suppressing it, that anger and resentment is showing up in your money, it's showing up in your relationship, it's showing up in your health. And as you shift that, all those areas improve simultaneously and exponentially.
Quantum leap for us also, when we do those, they impact others connected to us without us having to teach, say, or do anything. By the virtue of the quantum field and something called quantum entanglement, I am connected to those I have met. I'm connected to many, many people, places, and I can impact them by what I do inside of myself before I even say a word. So it's impacting others. My best activism for the planet, for kids, for my friends, for my workplace, for my relationship is working inside of me, making my own quantum leap. And then they will shift with respect to me. Quantum leaps can happen beyond time. You may have heard of the concept that time doesn't exist. It's a construct. We're experiencing it linearly. However, the past, our 10-year-old self, 20-year-old self, 2-year-old self, and our 70 and 80-year-old self are all happening in the now. Therefore, when I'm making quantum leaps, I can actually go above space and time and impact an area of my life that I've already experienced and visit an area of my life I have yet to perceive with my consciousness. We can make those quantum leaps. When we do that, we can fold space and time and create healing and transformation for the now, for this now moment. We can get a little deeper into that. And finally for my presentation today, there's actually many other aspects to this, but we will and do on a regular basis address and reverse major issues. Sometimes people look at topics of manifestation and making leaps and changes and jumps as things like just about money or just about my dream. But actually, we can make massive, fast mega shifts in the core challenges, issues, conditions, the things that we think are immovable, that are rocks that we've been dragging around for a while. They actually are even more so destined to become quantum leaps. And that's what we do here at Encompass, is address those, assist people in doing that. Tell me, what kind of issues, stressors do you see very popularly around in your world, whether you or your colleagues or your friends? What are you seeing as what's getting under people's skin today?
I see a lot of like money issues. I see a lot of money blocks. Also, I see a lot of like dysregulation in like the emotional body. Like I see like just like little things that will like spark, it'll trigger something, and then like it'll turn into this rolling ball effect. So I'm seeing that a lot in my outer world, and I guess apparently in my inner world because of that.
Right. I used to think that these things, if I experienced some discomfort or just stuff going on, I just used to think I had to just carry it on. My second call with Mark that I ever had, because I started in this with this organization as a student, as a client first, was that, you know, he said, well, he had helped me with something really peculiar and different, and it gave me the most amazing aha, helped me to my own aha. And then he said, is anything else going on? I said, no, I'm doing good. He's like, nothing else, no other issues. And I said, well, I got, this back thing over here. And then there's this another thing over here with my mission, another thing over here, but that's just, I'm fine. I'll deal with it. And he just laughed at me, kind of like I laughed at, but much nicer. And he's like, you can hold on to it, or you can choose to shift it. You actually have a choice. And it's so cool because we're working at the core, like he just said, that when I'm changing something at the core, it can affect, without having to go into and get a therapist for my partnership and a parenting coach for my kids and a business coach or a lead generation for financial, and then try some new health modalities. Just go to the core, and then all elements of life can shift. Right, Mark?
Yeah, I've been hired as a business coach numerous times, and I'll start working with somebody, and one of the big things that's affecting their business is their personal relationship, and they're carrying that weight to the office. People think they can compartmentalize their feelings. Good luck with that. No way. Those things, if you think you can put them into a little box and pretend you're all happy and giddy and stuff, that pretend self that people put on in front of people. And what's, the wider the difference is between how they really feel about themselves and that pretend self, man, that takes a lot of energy to maintain that difference. So what we're doing here is having people get really, tell the truth, like get all that stuff that they've been holding in out, and find a reversal for it. And as they do that, their energy level goes up, as well as their creativity and authorship and playfulness, which is a really, really big one.
Yeah.
Playfulness is huge in life. Most people forget how to play.
Well, that's a key part of the before we'll get into the play and the keys to making quantum leaps in a second. Mark, you've got so many amazing examples from the 1,000 people that you've or plus that you've guided.
Yeah, thousands of people.
Thousands. So share some really, if you could, some detailed ones that illuminate what we're talking about.
I'll do my own, since that's how I started with all this stuff as well. It's how I found all this technology. But I studied consciousness for about 35 years, and The modalities I was in were very cerebral, and it was about thinking positive thoughts and don't think negative thoughts, just think positive thoughts, which trying to police my thoughts was excruciatingly painful. And it was another way for me to beat myself up. So whenever I began taking these classes, which were, or not really these classes, because I've changed, but the classes that were really, really based in feelings, the foundation for what I'm doing here. I had a speech impediment as a child, and if I said a word incorrectly, I would get in trouble, yelled at, hit, whatever. So my speech impediment turned into a stuttering issue, and I stuttered for 50 years. For me to speak in front of a group of people, I would literally sweat through a shirt to speak in front of a group of people. My voices in my head were running wild. It was like listening to 15 different stations all at the same time while trying to connect with an audience. Good luck. So with this system, I went from a stutterer to clear speech in under 5 minutes. That's kind of cool, and able to speak in front of a group. Also, my health. I had taken allergy medicine for 30 plus years. My allergies healed in the first day I did class. I wore glasses for 35, 37 years, and my vision healed in a week. Say what? I know, right? Say what? I got it. And also, remember I told you I was so terrified to speak in front of a group. I had tumors growing in my throat. Literally, my throat was closing because I was so suppressed here. And I just coughed and spit those out. Doctor says, "What did you do?" I coughed and spit them out. That's not possible. Well, that's how I did it. I had skin conditions that healed and a whole bunch of different things as well. But all those physical issues have healed within the system. Plus, I was taking pills to sleep at night. I was stressed out. All that stuff left. All of it. And probably the most important thing is, for the first time in my life, I'm happy. I mean, I remember somebody goes, "Hey, man, how's it going?" I said, "Man, you know what? I really, really love life." I mean, I wasn't saying that about life before. Wow, life's like, sucks and it's hard and all those things. So one of the biggest things that changed in developing this system and putting and leading classes with this system is my relationship to life, capital L life, changed so much. I wasn't, the way I was taught about life was life's not fair, and it's tough, it's hard, and you got to work really, really hard to survive. And I mean, you can't do what you love to do. You got to do what it takes to make money. And it wasn't that much fun for me. I mean, I made money, lost money, and had businesses and did well, and had businesses and sucked with them too. So I was riding this roller coaster. Relationships the same way. And once I found and developed a system over the last, I guess I've been developing a system for about 15 years, and I beta tested for a number of years, and I launched this company about 4 years ago. And the last 4 years, we've been developing infrastructure and training coaches who could also train other coaches. Encompass Life is we're an online university, as well as we work with individual people, but also people who are looking for something more in life, and they really end about serving other people. So we have an online university, and we train people to become coaches, and their coaches they're doing real well. In fact, a lot of the people who come into our system are coaches from other modalities. They're going, "What you're doing here is so different." So I spoke with you a little bit about the trying to police thoughts, change from positive to negative and all that. What we do here is we change feelings, which changes thoughts. Way faster, way more impactful. And people make shifts, this quantum shift, where they have a whole new set of behaviors and a whole new set of thoughts. And frequently, they're not even aware they made the shift. And I'll go, "Hey, you realize you were speaking this way 15 minutes ago, and now you're speaking this way now. Instead of taking weeks or months of a habitual pattern change, it happens instantly. That's what's so cool about what we're doing here. Worked with people who have been on thyroid meds. Sometimes in one session, they're off all their meds, high blood pressure. I mean, a lot of people come up with a lot of different medical issues, and they're off all those things at once. People who haven't spoken with their mother, brother, father, sister in years, and do a session with them, and they go back to their phone and they go, "Hey, while we were doing a session, my mother called and just said, I just want to let you know I love you." I've have dozens of instances like that. I mean, that's, to me, it's so beautiful that how connected we all really are. And how when somebody does work inside them, it changes their whole family and everyone around them. So
yeah, absolutely. And as Mark was saying, some of those secrets to the quantum leap, as he just said, the feeling, I really have noticed the difference between so many, and there are many different types of modalities that do different things. I have seen largely that most people, therapy, coaching, consulting is based in the brain, and people would like to, I love my brain and I love getting data and chomping on stuff. But the reality is the electromagnetic field of the heart is between, depending on which field we're talking about, is 100 to 1,000 times the size of the brain. It is way more powerful, our feelings, way more powerful. And we've just been overstimulated in our brain and our society. And the brain has been so celebrated, and the letters after the names have been celebrated. And, kudos to those who take 10 years of university work. Great. That isn't the only form of intelligence, far from it. There are many other ones as well. And it just so happens that emotional intelligence is actually much more valuable, both in the workplace, in the home, in relationships, and in, most importantly, making the quantum leap in our lives. And so we spent a lot of time reacclimating, having people remember the power of their feeling world and the power of their emotions. Perspective is a very simple way of a much broader discussion, is getting people above and beyond the day-to-day judgment of what's going on in their lives. This is good, this is bad, this is right, this is wrong, this is great, this is bad, oh my goodness, and just getting way, way up above it so they can see the big plan of life. What's the big life soul path looking like? What is this really happening for in my life? And when we look at it from this perspective and we do it again and again and again, and we begin to do it automatically, you recognize, oh my gosh, this is actually a key part of my path. And so we empower people to move into that and create a lifestyle of perspective and vision, creating and stimulating intuition and vision, both the pineal and the pituitary gland, to a very great extent. Taking ownership is a big one. We have a lot of blame in our society. We like to blame other people for what's going on. This is why the country's this way. It's my relationship this way. It's my business this way. This is why you did this. And instead of, we check it around. We take ownership. Our part, it isn't all us, but we have co-created everything that's happening in our world. And we insist it's up to us to take responsibility, our share of the responsibility for what happens in our lives.
Yeah, I'm going to chime in here a little bit too. Anytime you're stuck in a pattern, if you have something you've been tolerating for a long period of time, a recurring pattern, it could be money, relationship, whatever. I guarantee you that shame, blame, guilt, or hate are involved with it. She's like, shame, blame, guilt, and hate. Beautiful. Yep, shame, blame, guilt, or hate. The shame, blame, guilt, and hate keeps you stuck in that repetitive pattern again and again and again and again. And I can work with people once they can find it, once they can understand that that's what's holding them into place. It becomes very, very easy to shift, to be able to shift it. Also, one of the things I help people with too, I've worked with a lot of people who have been involved with therapy for sometimes 5, 10, 15, 20 years. One of the things they work with on therapy is, she got somebody going on, is sometimes they'll have a fear of abandonment. You ever heard of that, right? What I found out, most the people who have a fear of abandonment, that's not really true. That's not their true fear. That's why they've been working on it for 15 years. What's really the fear is they have a fear of love. And once they realize that, they can shift instead of working on and going to a therapist and paying the therapist's electric bill for 15 years. They can shift and move through this fear of love, because that's actually what their fear is about, and shift that very, very quickly. And they give themselves permission to actually have love in their life again. And things happen like so fast.
Moving into recognizing the blessing. Wow, what an amazing shift in my life to see, as I was alluding to just a moment ago, a little bit, that things are happening for us. And people say that, oh, there's a reason for everything, and oh, but there's a silver lining, and so that thing that happened I didn't like is okay because there's a silver lining. I got a little something from it. We look at things reverse, and how you get your quantum leap is to see whatever happened that you didn't like, whatever happened that you feel has created or contributed to your stuckness, is actually the entire thing was a blessing, not just a little bit, but the whole thing. And rather than force people to see it that way, you must see this as a blessing. No, you will discover through this work, and this is how you're going to move space and time, folks, is recognize that the whole thing that happened to you that you've been avoiding, or the thing that's happening now that you have been pushing away or getting angry with, is actually a blessing. And the reason it's coming back and back and back is because it is here to catalyze your healing, transformation, and journey. So we empower you to see that, and slowly but surely take these filters away that we've gained over many years. And then it's like, oh my gosh, it was a blessing. I can have my gratitude for things that happened that were just seemingly awful at the time.
Yeah, it's the next step from just forgiving. It's a whole nother way. Forgiveness is awesome. It only gets you back to a place of neutrality, and to really, really activate the pineal pituitary and the endocrine system, and really get into the flow of life and really change your relationship to life. You have to be able to see the blessing in that instance that you believed that was so painful. You're going to find a beauty inside the pain.
Oh, I love that. A beauty inside the pain. So true. Now, to be able to do that, this is another piece that really sets what we're doing different than what most other modalities are doing. And it sounds simple. Oh, have commitment. Commit to what we're doing. We're talking about a whole different level of commitment, ladies and gentlemen. It's first and foremost your commitment to yourself. And to be able to do that, that means whatever shows up in contrast, whatever shows up the tension, whatever happens that seemingly is in contrast or contradiction to whatever you're choosing to have in your life, is to let it come, is to embrace the anger, embrace the grief, embrace the apathy, whatever it is, and move that energy and be able to see what it's showing you. And let me tell you, that can get pretty sticky sometimes, because many people would rather feel total joy instead of their grief. At the same time, that's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. That's where shifts are going to happen, is when I allow and see what's happening to me, and embrace it so that I can learn from it. And as Mark likes to say, get a PhD in it. And then I can create my quantum leap and then empower other people to do the same thing. And there's other pieces, but these are our top 6 secrets for today. Speaking your becoming. Life and death is in the power of the tongue. If you come to a mental awareness of a shift you choose to make, if you then actually go as far as to move that into your body and embody those shifts, and like really move that energy through you and choose a new path, you still require to put it in place. And it's put in place and you move down the track by speaking, and by speaking with meaning and feeling, not more than just, I've done thousands of mantras through the work, the Eastern philosophy and yogic work that I've done. Okay. And there's what people call affirmations. We're talking about deep feeling of our words and commanding our reality with the power of our voices and the power of our thoughts as well. And speaking, though, is actually going to create your new existence. So it's important to speak your leap and claim what it is that you choose to change with the power of your words.
Claim it from a place of already having it and already loving it. Make it super easy. Instead of like, I choose to have money. I love having money. I love my loving relationships. Even though right now, it may be the totally opposite of that. You start speaking only what you love, and that becomes you to create. Give yourself the feeling of it. And as you begin to feel it, you'll begin to start to see the pictures of it. As you begin to see the pictures of it, it will manifest into your reality.
Instantly, you can start shifting your life by speaking what you love. Speaking what you love. I love speaking life. I love seeing my answers. I love seeing life working for me. You can take these very things we're talking about and speak them into existence by claiming them with the power of your words.
Yep. Most people speak a lot of things they hate, and they speak a lot of words when they're in a reaction. A lot of thoughts, words, and feelings are aligned that way. When people begin to start speaking what they love, sometimes a little bit of, oh, what am I doing here? And the little head chatter will come up. Do it anyway, do it anyway, do it anyway, do it anyway. You'll be surprised. You will very, very, very well be surprised.
We feel that everybody deserves the chance to play the game of life with the actual instruction manual in hand and play at full tilt. And until you get how life works, and that is the quantum field that we live in, the spiritual or universal laws that govern this reality, how we work on the inside, how these emotions and feelings work, you can achieve a lot. However, you'll be short of your potential, and often way short, even if you do great things. So we feel that everybody deserves that chance, and everybody deserves a chance who is in a place of empowerment of then sharing the game of life with their world, with their clients, with their patients, with their family, whoever happens to be. Our mission, create the largest amount of change with the greatest amount of ease and the least amount of time. And a lot of those shifts that Mark mentioned happen in one conversation. I've had many sessions I've done with people, even sessions in conversation, light conversation in the car in 15 minutes, and people have life changes. That's so fun. Sometimes things take more time, but that's okay. That's probably more blessings inside. So I'm able to, for myself, find additional lessons and additional blessings and additional expansion opportunities. At the same time, I love miracles. Well, we have a lot of miracles in life. Everything's a miracle. And we love seeing those huge shifts quickly and with ease. No more efforting. We can bypass all of the struggling and the studying for all these years and grinding and all of that, and just say, how about quick, swift, fun changes that make a difference in my life?
I agree. The being able to do this really, really quickly is to be able to experience some very strong results. There, with this system and anyone else's as well. I mean, as you're remembering more and more about life, there is really no final destination. You're going to continue to grow and continue to grow and continue to grow. So I've been studying consciousness for 35 years. I'm still a beginner. And to keep the beginner mindset, stay that beginner and just stay curious and stay where you allow yourself to grow to greater and greater levels of love and enthusiasm. So it's really beautiful if we can keep that beginner mindset.
Oh yeah, that's huge. We have Mark and I have a lot of visions for our future. where we see us summoning different mountains and being of service to different folks in many ways. One thing that came to mind when I'm making this presentation is having 10,000 empowered conscious leaders in all geographies, sectors, age groups, populations, and they are upgrading their part of the world. That's how we're going to create change. You could have a really great plan, organization. You could have all the top people in politics or some great inventor who has some amazing business, but they're only going to be able to affect it top down. So they can bring in their great strategy and it goes top down. What we're saying is we're bottom up. So we empower you, you empower your world, whether that's your kids or your company or your community or your church or whatever your space of influence is, your patients at your practice. And then they're able to go on and do that. And that is going to create ripples. It already is creating ripples of change through communities, and to be able to spark that and be a force multiplier is one of the visions that we have for our organization. So what enables us to make so many quantum leaps? We've mentioned some of these things already. However, there's a couple more pieces that I choose to ensure that you get. The first is a high level of commitment. Again, we talked about that before. Yeah, I'm committed, I'm in. But what does that mean for us? You're showing up clear, present, and willing to play. That means even if you got a PhD and you got a doctorate and you're a medical doctor or you're a psychologist or you've done all the spiritual work, you come in like a beginner and you're open and ready to hear and consider and go with new things and play with new things, being fully present. That is, we do a lot of camera classes, our courses, our experiences are virtual. We're always on camera. There isn't any hiding in our courses. Everyone participates and is present for themselves and for the other people in the group. And being clear, that means moving in a direction or already having arrived at a place of being substance free. Now, I do understand that some people have found benefit from certain substances in their lives, certain plant medicines and different types of things that can provide momentary benefits. I get that. At levels of consciousness that we're working at, being clear is going to be the sole pathway for you to become your own information gatherer from the quantum field, from the universe, from God. However you connect to your higher power source will happen much, much stronger when you're clear, free of any of the energies or the dependencies on outside substances or even people. You're your own empowerment agent. We're just simply going to provide the mirror of awareness, point things out, and stand with you as you go through this transformation. You get to show up clear. And we're insistent on that because we are very confident, and we've seen it over and over again. That's the pathway. Clear, present, willing to play, and with the mind of a beginner.
What we're working on here is that's so different is, I guess it's something talking about ancient wisdom too, but we're working with people on a very, very core basic level. It's like a really good professional player. If they have something awry in their game, baseball player, football player, whatever, baseball player, golfer, they find a coach who can take them back and start working on their fundamentals again. So what we're doing here is really, really driving home the fundamentals with you. Everything that exists in our reality is based in spiritual law. And we really have people begin to understand what spiritual law is, embody the spiritual law, trust spiritual law. As they do so, their boldness and their manifestations increase. They keep increasing as they begin to trust and apply spiritual law to greater and greater levels in their life.
Oh, yeah. And for us to be able to maximize these types of shifts, we're always small groups. And people have said, well, you could be like, you guys are kind of like Joe Dispenza, or you share a lot of things with Tony Robbins, and they're lovely guys. And we find that to get quantum leaps, and that's what we're aiming for every time, 5,000 people, even 1,000 people, it's a stretch. Transformations can happen. They happen way more when you're one-on-one, mano a mano, men and women in a small group showing up for one another and being able to participate consistently and be heard, speak, and shift, and us to be able to keep the space for them, or shall I say, present the environment and the accountability partners for them in order for them to do it right then and there. They'll go on home and do it on your own and come back to us next workshop. You're going to do it right here, right now. And that enables us. We're going live. We do have some recorded sessions, and those are more beginner stuff or just like tasters. Come in, work with us. We're going to work with you. We work with those who make the commitment and come and show up and participate. It's all participation based, experiential, as I'll say in a moment. And that's how we do it. And that's how we're able to get shifts. We're one of the few folks who'll sit here and do this with you, as long as you do it for yourself. I find ancient wisdom, other than inventing a whole lot of stuff here. I mean, we have a lot of these insights and wisdom. We're probably putting it together in a very unique way. We're standing with you in a very unique way. And we're really making it practical. Some people might have talked about the quantum field, and it sounds so esoteric, and you're going to go watch Gaia and check out Nassim Haramein and how these universes work together. That's cool. But that's cool. And how about just being able to use it on a daily basis? How does it impact me today? How does spiritual law impact me? How am I impacting my world? That's what we get into, the practical interchange of experience with the world around us and in us. And that's what makes the leaps possible. It isn't that mental idea of, okay, I'm going to really I'm going to manifest it, or I'm going to, no, it's understanding what my pathway is and doing it inside of me again and again. And as I mentioned, experiential, everybody plays. Our virtual classes are a little bit more like if you've done an out of bounds or kind of, a wilderness retreat, right? It's that sort of intensity. It's that sort of presence with people, even though we're doing it online, very unique. At the same time, you can leave your notepad down, you come, your game, this is our playing field right here before us, and we're going to do it. And it gets emotional, folks. Get a little emotional, it can get hot, it can get sticky, it can be like, oh, a little bit, oh my goodness, and get a little tightness, or maybe some tears are shed, and that's totally normal. And expect that. This is what happens when we change. We change our chemistry and our body response with chemical reactions. And that's part of the process. And we stay with you beyond judgment and stay with you in divine love and walk you through these and again, and you'll start getting it on your own. We'll Sherpa you up the mountain, and eventually you're going to know the way, and you'll be able to Sherpa other people.
Yeah, I equate this to if you're watching the X Games on TV and you see somebody get on a motorcycle and do a flip, you have a mental awareness of it. Most people have mental awarenesses about the law of attraction. They've watched the videos, they've maybe experienced a few things, but what we're doing here is you're getting on the motorcycle, you're getting on the ramp, and you're doing the flip. You'll keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it until you can get it on inside your body, not just when it's convenient for you to do it, but when you don't want to do it. When it's the hardest for you, you'll still be able to do it. That's when you're really, really changing your world. And if you can't do it when you don't, if you can talk yourself out of doing it, then you'll always find a way to talk yourself out of it. But what we're doing here, we're going to help you until you get that metal or will inside you where you can continuously live in this high level of spiritual trust and performance. Spiritual training for warriors here. Really, really what we're doing. We had a client today. He said, this is like Navy SEAL training for life. And I mean, I agree. It's next level, and you'll find your next level. You'll find way more confidence you ever believed with yourself. You'll find a way more stronger will than you believe you had. And you be able to manifest things and stay on purpose with your life and do things that most people can, maybe talk about, but they never achieve.
Yep. And one other aspect that's really important that we do. Now, whether you're taking one session or can I do one-on-ones, whether you're taking a group experience live online or live with us, or you're doing the whole track, because we have one course that lines up against the next and builds for people who choose to really use these tools for your world. Some people just do this and they become quantum leap specialists and then use this exclusively to work with folks. And sometimes we have medical doctors or fitness trainers or business folks who bring it to their world. Whether you're doing one or many classes, we're going to share the tools with you. Unlike many therapists and coaches who work with someone for 10 years and they're there as the guru and they're answering their questions, and then they hold the knowledge, they hold this knowledge base. We're going to give you the tools. We're going to say, this is how it works. Go do it. Work with it. Here. Oh, this is a little, okay, this is how it's done. Okay, I do it this way. And then you get to practice this and get it inside of you, because together we're going to move a lot faster than if I'm going to hold on to that and then give you pieces and have you come back every time. Our goal is to move people through, is to engage people where they choose to be, where they choose to really take off in their lives, and give you as much as we can full on so that you can be on your own and be shifting your world. You might come back to us and do a session here or a course here in a few years down the line. But after you go through our curriculum, our full curriculum, we're a stand for keep working with us, or go do your own thing, impact the world. We're going to give you as much as we can, and that's also a rarity in the marketplace and in our world. So, but that's how we feel best, is share it, because the more we share it, the more we get, the more we can see. I choose to be the best vessel for the divine I can be. That means whatever I get, I'm going to give to you. I'm going to give to you. I'm going to give to you, and then you're going to be able to shift and help your world. I mentioned repetition. Mark mentioned that as well. As things come up, because they do, I thought, well, I get to this place of enlightenment and I'd be done my journey. You know, I've reached at least a pinnacle, a great space, and I'm going to be this equanimous Buddha, so to speak. Not the case. Not the case at all. Things still come up. Obstacles come up. Kerfluffles may come up. And so we'll stick with you through it. And through the repetition, that's how I've learned. That's how I've remembered my path to be dealing with stuff. And now it's just part of the life game. I'm able to navigate with ease when if things come up, bang, I can shift them because I've done them so many times inside of myself, instead of saying, oh my gosh, I got to call Michael, I got to call Mark because this is going on. No, we walk through with you so many times. You forged that metal, that strength, that, inner knowing. And then you start doing it on your own, and we'll sit here and do it with you again and again, because it gets different. And there's more and more and greater levels, as Mark talked about as well. There's also something really unique that we're doing. Again, super different than what other folks are doing. We can actually read your subconscious mind. Now, as other than channeling or psychic mediumship or any of that sort of stuff, yes, we do tune into our intuition. Yes, we tune into our feeling world and seeing what's going on with you. We also have very specific, teachable, rememberable, learnable assessment tools that easily speak to us and tell us what's going on and is ready for healing in your world. Those are your speech, your words, and your diction. Everything that you're saying is indicative of your path and what's happening in your world. It's very easy to see where a stumbling block is and where people are going to be paving the road to success by just hearing how they speak, what words you use, phrases, tones. It's all revealed through speech. Body movements, so that would be the typical, what we consider body language when we're talking about it in the common vernacular or the shows or the TED Talks, and I'm going to teach you body language and all that. We look at body movements to a higher detail, and it's our version of body language to a very specific manner. Then we have something unique, which is body codes, or what are the conditions that are showing up in my body: illness, injury, scratches, pains, feelings, unpleasant feelings that are all translatable in consciousness. Now, if something happens to me, if I have an injury, before I was like, oh gosh, this is going to disturb my workout routine, or now I'm going to have to do this or not do that. Now it's like, wow, there's something big knocking at the door of my consciousness, ready to shift. And we can translate those for you and teach you how to be a translator of your own body codes. And we can also see when we do this exclusively in the live events, we take high resolution photos of your eyes, and we can see a lot of these patterns all at once. So your speech and your words and your body language is going to be revealing things bit by bit. The eyes have a whole map of all kinds of stuff that is ready to shift in your consciousness, all kinds of strengths ready to come in. And we can, in just one picture, actually gather so much intel that we can be helping someone for dozens of sessions if they chose to, and continue to dive in, because the eyes are that revealing. They truly are the window to the soul. So, some questions that we get commonly asked. We have used the word coaching tonight. We do use the word coaching, although in reality, is this life coaching? It maybe falls into the general genre, but the reality is what people consider coaching and what we do is very different for the reasons that we've mentioned. For the duration of the time, a life coach can get certified in a couple of months or even sometimes in a weekend. All of us here are the coaches and trainers at Encompass Life. We've been doing this for 4 years plus, just this technique. And then a lot of us have done many, many other years of different stuff. And so instead of coaching, which I also consider like telling you ideas and reflections, kind of like the next one, like therapy, here you tell me your problems and I'm going to give you the strategy to extricate yourself from those. What we're doing is deep session work, deep remembering, deep accountability, and standing with you and training and being with you so that you become your own coach, your own guru, your own psychologist, and forge those pathways so you can tap right into the quantum field, right into spirit, right into the divine on your own, so that you can be your own coach, healer, guru, and guide. And that's much different. And we're also, again, working on the feeling and emotional world, while most coaches and therapists are working on the intellectual world exclusively. The feeling world is vastly, vastly more powerful. And we're also going to be working and helping you forge your pathways of intuition, imagination, and really getting beyond space and time. Sometimes people say, well, I've already done a lot of self-work. What's new that you guys are doing? I've already done all of this stuff. I have a doctorate in such and such. And you may have heard of a lot of the things that we're talking about tonight and some of the things that we talk about in our courses. The difference is that our teaching aspect or our lecture piece is actually only a very small percentage of the time that we're spending together. We're actually navigating you through the contrast, the patterns, filters, subconscious thought forms, and parasitic energies that are in your system that are keeping you from your divine grace, from your divine love. And we're gonna be with you going through those one by one as they show up. So it's real deep transformation work. That's the application of the wisdom is the key here. More than just getting, oh, I got it, I can write a book on this, that, or the other, I'm an Amazon bestseller. We're going to walk you through the transformation and stand with you while you go through the heat and the icky and the tears and all that. We're right here, no, zero judgment and ready to go. Okay, you ready to play? I'm ready to play. Let's do this. Eye to eye, face to face, heart to heart. We're going to change with you. And finally, some people ask, among other questions, who's the guru here? Mark, as I mentioned, developed the technique. He has been our leader and has brought this company into fruition. Now we work together, but the reality is we're beyond guru, not more than just us. This time period, it's the guru time period is over. As you've probably seen, the different gurus and leaders and spiritual guides and all these fall by the wayside in the past years through all different kinds of inconsistencies, to scandals, to different things. Why? Because you are your own guru. We're going to empower you to be your own guru. You go direct, you get your own information. And instead of depending on people on the outside, you forge your inner connection so that you can have your own answers when you choose. Lastly, a few assumptions that we often see. People say, well, I've done this before. probably this is different. And we, other than seeing everything on the planet, even though we studied internationally, worked with lots and lots of people, and done a lot of different types of activities and methodologies, the way we put it together is unique.
Yeah, so far, every person who said that they've done something like this before, they've come here and they've said, I haven't done anything like what you're doing here.
Sometimes I work with folks or talk to people who have some interests, but then are wrapped up a lot in the outside strategies that they're looking to repair their family or get their business to the next level. And those have value. Okay. But the assumption sometimes is I don't have any time to do this inner transformational work because I'm already too busy. Do I have 2 hours a week, 4 hours a week to really dedicate to this? And no, because I've already filled up my schedule with all my other stuff. The reality is, folks, if you avoid the inner shifts, if you avoid the inner, it doesn't, the outer strategies can only take you so far. They can only bring you a little bit of the way. And eventually what's going on in the inner will again be reflected in the outer, and you will return to a state that you were previously at or something like it, because it's all an inside job. This whole experience is happening in us and reflected on the screen of life. And if you think you can bypass that with even the smartest programs and offerings and all of that, that's just not how life works. It's just everything's happening inside of me. When I change inside of me, my world outside is reflected. So that's key to remembering. If you really like to shift your business, your mission, your partnership, and you avoid the inner work, it's not going to happen. It's not going to, maybe something will happen, but it will not sustain, and it will absolutely be short of the huge potential that you can have in any one of those areas. If you think that your relationship is already at its fullest, well, I welcome you to remember that how can your relationship or your love be at its fullest when you are made of love, and we have infinite levels of love to move into. We will consistently throughout our lives, if we choose to, reach higher and higher octaves of love, catapulting ourselves forward with our partners and those around us. There's so much more out here for you, so much more. And it's the same for your business. Even if you've been rocking and rolling, your business can get a lot bigger. It can get a lot more successful. It can also be a lot easier to have that success.
And way more fulfilling. I mean, some people just do stuff and they burn themselves out, and having something that you really love, and your people who have people who love staying with you. I mean, that's huge.
Absolutely. So conclusion, look, guys, if you're looking for quantum leaps in your life, remembering how life works is the first step, and making a commitment to actually do it. We live in a pop a pill society, easy answer society, and I get it. Lots going on. There's a lot of things happening in our lives. It would be nice to have that quick answer and just tie it up in a nice bow and move on. However, what you're going to get, as the saying goes, is going to be correlated to what you put in. Although we can do stuff really fast with the quantum leap, there are no shortcuts or hacks to the game of life. It just works how it works. And the sooner you remember how that works, you call that remembrance forth in you, you can start playing, and then, you can catapult yourself fast if you do, though, make that commitment, see how things go, and are willing to go through the moments of shift and change that can get a little funky sometimes. And hey, that's why we're here. We're meant to do this in collaboration, this life thing. We're meant to be in partnership. We have dedicated, Mark and I, and the many other folks who work with our organization. We're here to support your journey because we're fired up about that. We're enthusiastic about that. That's our first and foremost objective. The business we trust will come when we serve you and we empower you. And that's what we're here to do. So how do we do that? Well, if you're ready to go, you're ready to start your engine, we have 2 very robust introductory level courses. One is online. It's called The Basics. It goes over 4 weeks, 2 nights a week, plus a one-on-one QLT session. And even though it's called The Basics, our basics are pretty elevated. This is the instruction game. This is the live game of life instruction manual. That's the basics. How to Wow is a supercharged weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. If you're more of I'd like to get a break and really dive in, immerse myself, and be in the flesh with folks, the How to Wow experience is going to move you and give you the opportunity to move things. Specifically, the title refers to the how. How am I going to move forward? How am I going to do this? How does this work? To wow, I got it. Oh my gosh, got my answer. Oh my gosh, now I can see. Wow, I see my results happening. I've already achieved them. We can help you discover those tools inside of you to do that for all those types of how questions you have in life, and you will leave with starting on the path of being able to solve your own situations rapidly. The next, we have a bit of a step up from here. It's where I say, get your rocket ship ready. There's something called body electronics, which is also it's a mountain experience. So there's a 4-week climb of individual one-on-one calls and a group calls that are also lifted by a certain nutritional preparation to bring you to the summit, which is a 4-day live experience that is going to catalyze your transformation by multiples of 100, of 1,000. Why? Because we're working in concert with the preparation to do a specific technique called body electronics. You can discover it on our website. On the body electronics page, there's a whiteboard video that describes the kind of science of it. And it catapults things through. It lifts up stuff that's been buried in the body, where these unprocessed thoughts, words, and emotions, traumas get lodged. We actually help free them up and allow them to come forth and then transform them into strengths. And that is the way to do it very fast.
That was the most significant class I took that really, really changed my life. I took it, I did my first class 15 years ago now, and it was huge for me. I mean, it changed my whole life trajectory very, very quickly. So highly recommend it. For those of you who know about the pineal gland, pituitary gland, it gets the pineal gland it gets the pineal gland back online. Imagination, enthusiasm is going to skyrocket. For me, it was like cleaning, cleaning a slate so I could paint my new life instead of being able to paint from the pain of the past. Like all that stuff just left, and I had a clean canvas to be able to create on. So it was really, really impactful for me. And I've been leading body electronics classes for, probably 12 years now. And they keep getting greater and greater impacts, way more ease, and fun. I mean, they're really a lot of fun to do it as well. And they're literally like 100 coaching sessions all at once. And people tell me I'm underselling it when I'm saying that.
And look, if you're just still contemplating things, if you're watching this recording, come to our live sessions on Tuesday nights. Come visit Mark and I, whoever's heading up these conversations, and ask your questions. Bring your questions. If you're ready to dip your toe in a little bit more, we have a Thursday group coaching, which occurs 6 to 8 p.m. Thursdays on a rolling membership basis. Very economically priced to give you the opportunity to start playing and see how we do things, and get a little bit of a sample of shifts that can happen in your life. And we do have a couple recorded classes. One that's online right now. It's a recorded version of the basics I mentioned before. It's going to be a little bit different. I really recommend at some point taking the live version, because that's the play part. That's the facing what comes up and being able to shift that with guidance part, which is super helpful. At the same time, the recorded one is like, I took 4 basics and then cut them into one. So it is chock full of serious wisdom at the same time. And you get to see a little bit of a sample of the practice that we do with some of the students as well. We have a conscious language session coming online as well, which is like an instruction book for the language piece of what we're doing, kind of like an abridged version, we'll say, a Cliff Notes version. However, it's loaded with perspectives about our speech and ways to shift yours to start creating the world that you choose to have. So everything that we do, we only have a few handful of different things. We obviously have, as I mentioned before, a certification or enrichment empowerment program that goes throughout a whole year. These are the jumping off points where you would get started if you're interested in really shifting your life and you were like, heck, this could be for me. I mean, give us a call or just join one of the group classes and see for yourself.
Instead of, putting off things that, if you start now, 6 months from now, your life's going to be different. You keep putting things off, keep putting things off, keep putting things off. The more you put things off, the more you put things off. So jump in, try something new. The only thing you're going to change your life is is for you to change yourself. As you change yourself, everything else in your life changes. Jump in, take a chance. I know most people they say, well, I got to get out of my comfort zone. Well, that may be true. But what I've found is most people are very miserable and they're very familiar with being miserable in their life. So if you've had enough misery, if you believe there's something else that you can do to be happy in your life, give it a shot. I mean, people come to us for two reasons. One, they got a pain point in their life. They've finally had enough. The other people who come to us is they've done a lot of other modalities. They've had results with them, but they believe that there's more. So this is, if you've got a pain up, great, come to us. If you're looking for, man, what's really, really next, to look something that's really going to challenge me, really have me manifest something wonderful in my life, try that out as well. I mean, what we do here is very, very different, and I guarantee it makes changes with you.